Well, I don't know what to say about this one here. Right now it's 2:22 in the morning. It is the 8th of July, 2022. Several hours ago in Japan, a former prime minister, Conservative Party, was trying to change things for the good. He had been in party ever since early 2000, and he had been a force of nature. He got out, he resigned himself to get out in order to deal with things that are happening, but he was still a force of nature. He wanted his Constitution of Japan changed. He wanted more pride, but he also wanted more military buildup, not to take on what happened in World War II, but to defend the country and surrounding areas as much as possible. Apparently, that wasn't going to happen. Shinzo Abe, who is an elder spokesperson for Japan, met up with a lot of world leaders, including, unfortunately, the last president we had in this country. Made friends with him, unfortunately. They're still trying to get as much information in Japan as CNN's still trying to get as much information to tell the rest of the world about how they couldn't save his ass. The damage was just too severe, and he was shot point blank in the chest with a handmade gun. Japan has one of those constitutions and laws that prohibits their citizens from having armaments. Oh, they can have a sword. They can't have a firearm. They can go crazy with the damn swords if they want to. But anything regarding firearms, forget it. It's military. And even the military would have a limited capacity and actually limited access to it. Protection, details, yes. But not where it's blatant all around. A way of stopping violent actions before anything else happens by Constitution law, saying you cannot have this. And if you do have this, you got to be put through a rigmarole, a rigorous paper trail, psychological examinations. God, they got to put you through everything to make sure that you are going to be entitled to carry that damn firearm. And this son of a bitch actually has made a gun and shot him and just got arrested. But nobody has found out the reasons why. Now on the other computer, that's where the information's breaking right now. So I'm going to be posting a little bit. Get the volume up here. Christine Romans, CNN. Paula Hancock, international correspondent, based out in Seoul, Korea.
within the LDP, the ruling party that he was controlling, that he was part of. So he was still a very vocal part of Japanese politics. And he did have politics in his blood. I mean, if you look at his family, his grandfather was prime minister, his great uncle was prime minister, his father was a former foreign minister, which is where he really cut his teeth being the secretary to his father. So this is something that he had been brought up to be part of this political world. Now, he was the youngest leader ever to be elected in Japan at the age of 52. In fact, he was the first Japanese leader that was actually born after World War II. And he had some very strong ideas of where he wanted Japan to go, the direction that he wanted the country to go. He was very assertive when it came to foreign policy, and you see that many of the international leaders' reactions that have come out just before he was pronounced dead were talking about the fact that he was a great figure, and also many of them saying he was a close personal friend, showing just how many of these leaders that he had impacted. In Australia, for example, apart from the Prime Minister itself, 3 former Prime Ministers spoke about him and said how they considered him to be a close personal friend. So it just shows how outgoing he was when it came to the region, when it came to the world. Now, of course, that assertive foreign policy was not appreciated by everybody. It wasn't appreciated by China. It wasn't appreciated by South Korea, for example. There are many historical issues between Japan and South Korea when it comes to, for example, the colonization, the former colonization of South Korea by Japan back in 1910 to 1945. There are still many residual issues that continue because of that. And Shinzo Abe was certainly a figure that was not always appreciated in this country when it came to that. The relations were not always particularly good either when it came to the leader here and Shinzo Abe in Japan. But he certainly did have that very wide spanning outlook when it came to the foreign policy. Just the fact that he was, for example, the very first world leader that reached out and managed to get some kind of a relationship with the former US President Donald Trump. That is something that many world leaders were unable to do, unable to fathom. But that's something that Shinzo Abe set out to do very early on. The fact that his relationship with the United States needed to be closer. That was something he was very vocal about, and that's something that even now, even though he was in the back seat of politics, that he was still pushing. Christine?
Yeah, managing that relationship with the new President Donald Trump when much of the rest of the world was trying to figure out how to handle that. That was well played politically, right? As an elder statesman, having hamburgers with the president, playing golf in Florida with the president in 2019, he managed that well. I want to talk quickly, and for those of you who are just checking in here, just starting to view here, the former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan has been assassinated, and this was a homemade gun, it appears, Paula. And talk to us a little bit about just the rarity of gun violence in Japan. This is a shocking incident. When you look at video and pictures of what appears to be the weapon, it is clearly handmade. It's almost like 2 pipes wrapped together. Almost it appears like a mobile pipe bomb. And we know that it felled this leader. Tell us a little bit about gun violence in the region.
Well, the very fact that the alleged assassin had to make his own gun tells you more than anything that I could tell you. The fact that it is so difficult, almost impossible, for a regular citizen to be able to buy a gun in Japan and to be able to have a license for a gun. The checks are quite remarkable. For example, you have to have certain examinations. You have to pass an exam, a written exam. They also have a personal and a mental health assessment before you are allowed to have a gun. There is a police check, for example, on you. There's mandatory training to make sure that you know how to use the gun and that you actually have the gun for a particular reason. So it is extremely difficult for a regular citizen in Japan to be able to access this kind of weaponry, which is highly, it shows, because the fact that is that this individual allegedly had to create his own in order to carry out this attack. And even though this is extremely shocking to Japan, to those in the region, South Korea is very similar when it comes to shocking that a prime minister, a former prime minister, has been assassinated. It is also extremely shocking that it is being done by a handmade gun, because there is a sense of security in countries like this, in Japan. I mean, I myself, after having worked there, have walked home at 3 o'clock in the morning back to the hotel, would not have thought that there could be anything dangerous about it. It is an extremely safe country, and it is just something that you don't imagine happening. So that is certainly going to be something that many people within Japan will be extremely shocked about.
All right, Paula Hancock, thank you so much for your analysis. We are following this breaking news out of Japan. Former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has died. We learned he was bleeding profusely from a bullet that went deep enough to reach his heart. We're learning new details every moment. CNN's special coverage continues.
First off, I'm going to apologize for feeding off like that, because getting up this early sometimes it does take a lot out of me, especially when I can't sleep, and then I get out here and I'm hearing things that are affecting affecting anything and everything, and then just waiting for more information about the shooter himself. And I'm glad that they talked about the gun situation. How it's almost impossible to own a gun. You got to go through a lot. So what was going through this motherfucker's ass? What was going through his head at this point over here? And I know I'm using the language, but screw it at this point. He's just caused a major thing happening in the world. Japan's prime minister, former prime minister. It's like trying to assassinate Margaret Thatcher when she just got out of office. And she already made her bones, and she already made her mark. And you just can't understand why her is dead. I'm saying hypothetically at this point over here. I mean, I never knew how Margaret Thatcher died in the first place, but I got to research that one. But back in the 80s and 90s, she was called the Iron Lady. And she got along great with Ronald Reagan, because they both shared the same mindset. They're both conservatives, but more defensive. A lot of things. She was an outgoing lady. Abe was the same way concerning about his country's politics. Being conservative, yes, you are going more and more crazier with the necessity of armaments. In this kind of situation here, are they going to be changing their policies or not? Okay, they're going to be back on again.
Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has died. We learned he was bleeding profusely from a bullet that went deep enough to reach his heart. Let's bring in Bill Ricketts.
Jesus, this must hit the aorta.
I'm watching these responses come in. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg just moments ago sending his deep condolences to the family of the assassinated former Prime Minister.
Damn,
Deeply saddened by
blood must have hit the aorta.
killing of Shinzo Abe.
He had no chance.
What more are we learning about what is an assassination in Japan?
Well, the big question now, Christine, is why? I think back to the huge protests that I covered when I was the Tokyo correspondent for 4 years, all of them with Shinzo Abe as the prime minister. He was Japan's longest-serving prime minister, and when he was elected at 52 for his first term, he was the youngest as well. He has two former prime ministers in his family. It's definitely a political dynasty, and he did Aki Abe, and how could you not, love her? She was elegant. She was always calm and collected under pressure. There, if there were any sort of questions about activities aside from being the first lady, her private life was never really raised into question. People always felt that she was there. She was serving Japan just like her husband was, and she did everything she needed to do in order to fulfill that role and to play her part in helping support this man who was the longest-serving prime minister. She struck me as just incredibly elegant, incredibly glamorous, very, very nice, very polite, exactly what would be considered the ideal in Japanese society, or at least the conservative ideal from an era that may be now in the past as they're trying to build this new Japan. But Aki Abe, she was a very impressive person, Christine, and my heart is with her. I can't imagine what she's going through now, having to be the widow of one of the greatest politicians.
No question. And world leaders, one after another, have raised their condolences and their concerns for her and her family here overnight as we were watching this all develop. Will Ripley, thank you so much. We have more on the breaking news out of Japan. The former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has died. The doctors say it was from excessive bleeding. A gunman shot him with what appears to be a homemade gun, and the bullet went deep enough to reach his heart. An assassination in Japan. CNN's special coverage continues.
Okay, I'm going to have to put that on pause. Actually, on mute. I hadn't kept up with the Japanese politics. I hadn't kept up with any Japanese news except what was happening out in the ocean, in the Pacific Oceans. When you had a geologic activity, there would be earthquakes left and right, and I know there would be tsunami alerts. They were talking about 2011, 2012, the Fukushima nuclear power reactor being devastated because of an earthquake and a tsunami, flooded coastlines of northern Japan. I didn't think that Japan had any problems concerning about their image. I really didn't think anything about it. I didn't hear anything concerning about how negative the image Japan had prior to having an earthquake and a tsunami wiping their ass out in different areas. I also knew more about the geologic areas because I had to do a little bit of, studying work just to help me out with my geology class back at college. It's all on volcanic ranges. A lot of uplift, a lot of subduction zones. And the mountains, some of them are actually volcanic. Mount Fuji is being one of the primary ones that are more geologically active. And yet, they are on a hot zone. Not a hot zone, but the Pacific Rim of Fire. They're in the plate zones for that. So I knew that they were constantly having earthquakes left and right. But besides the geologic, then we had the political going on. We had China asserting more and more control over the Pacific regions than normally they wouldn't. But they're trying to do what Japan tried to do in World War II. Except this time they made artificial islands in certain areas, in certain channels. Now here's the thing concerning about China. When they were making those artificial islands, they were making them as a political point. If you happened to recognize that the particular island that they were bellyaching about has been made by China, and you acknowledged it to the world that they had legitimacy. United States and the other countries surrounding China didn't. It didn't matter how many artificial turfs and reefs and islands that they would make just to increase their territory. Other islands and other island nations are saying, no, we don't recognize you at all. And therefore, you're curtailing on freedom of trade. There are certain passages along the Solomons, the Philippine Islands, past the peninsulas of Japan and Vietnam and Korea, Taiwan. The areas are in dispute left and right, and they're still fighting it out politically, almost coming close to military. And China, actually Japan, because of its constitution made right after World War II, redrafting, they cannot retaliate. They'll try, but they can't go first. They can't fire first. They have been training with our American forces and American bases left and right out there. Some countries made the United States pull out. So we have some activity. We have some lever and some pull. And because we made promises to Taiwan to protect them, we had to have bases nearby to do so. And have to keep negotiations with China over the situation. Meanwhile, we keep maneuvering our ships in the area. We keep doing convoys left and right. And not commercials either. I mean, commercials are one thing. But we're doing military operations. It's to tell the China they can't do what they're doing at this point. It is so weird hearing that somebody actually made a gun. It kind of reminded me of a movie that Clint Eastwood was in. Nearly one of the last movies, but it wasn't. He played an aging Secret Service agent who was in charge, or actually part of the team of taking care of a president, and he heard John Malkovich was going to be killing the president. So John Malkovich made this gun, special gun, and it wouldn't be picked up on radar. I kept wondering whether or not the guy who's doing the assassination at this point over here did the same damn shit. And why didn't he run? No, he fired and killed the guy at point blank because he was making a political statement. It's the only thing I can think of at this point over here. He was making a political statement against the Conservative Party and against the president, prime minister, because he had a thing against him, probably. That's my theory. But he didn't run away. And he made sure that the damage was done. I mean, it's one thing to doing it over here, but the heart's basically right in this section here. Normally when they're doing the CPR, they always have to find a notch. Well, in my blubberous body, it's going to kind of hard, but with 2 fingers, you find a notch right over here. And then in this section of the rib cage, you're able to do the fingers have to be interlaced, and you're doing compressions, trying to keep the blood circulating in the body. Now, if he happened to shot in that section there, you have the aorta. You have the aorta in there. Hell, if he could have shot right by the legs, at least I think in the well, one of the legs actually has uh, the blood vessel that supplies all the oxygen to the extremities. At least the legs. You had a vein going up and you got an artery going down. But to hit the aorta, oh man, that's dead. You're dead. There's no way of getting that damn thing repaired fast enough before you die. Before you die, you'll bleed out. And that's what it was doing. It can pump in as much blood as they can, but the heart was already damaged. The heart was already damaged. So now there's going to be kind of repercussions going on throughout the world regarding this. Whoever had a lot of ties with him and a lot of connections with him, they're going to be getting that poor schmuck like crazy, trying to find out why he got assassinated. Who paid him? Who bought him out? Was it personal? Was it not personal? They're going to be tearing themselves apart left and right on this damn crap. And this is going to be one of the hardest damn things to go through, is having a leader assassinated. Of course, if you happen to live in a country that has the leaders assassinated nearly every single time, but, you know, that particular logic there doesn't work. At least not for me anyway. Assassinations suck. No, they're the poor man's way of getting out of things left and right. Okay. Try this for a hypothetical at this point over here. Okay. Without Google going crazy, without YouTube going crazy, without the Secret Service going crazy. Okay? Let's just say. If Trump was in office, and this was going back to the times when he's in office and he's being a pain in the ass royally, and everybody else is being a pain in the ass. Let's just make sure that I be a John Malkovich character, okay? And I'm going to make a gun out of this damn thing here. Now, reality speaking, I have no clue how to do that. I've got no experience in doing that. But if I was determined and I was a schmuck, I could do that. Okay, so we're going to make a weapon out of this damn thing somehow. And then we're going to find him. And then we're going to do something nasty industrially. Possibly we can't make this into a damn gun. But we can poison his food. I don't know. There may be a dozen ways of how to use this damn thing, and I'm not even about to try. But I was just trying to use it for a little bit of an example at this point over here of a mindset and of a lunatic who might think of something like this could be used as a lethal weapon. Of course, somebody else would probably think of it at the same time. And that was plenty sharp at the end. And I don't want it. I'm not planning on killing anybody. Besides, it'd get me too much in trouble with the law. And I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. But if I had gotten close enough to a certain schmuck and did the deed with a tool, under normal circumstances, you do a hit and run. You find a way, you get an exit strategy to get the hell out of there. Find your way into another area and hide or disguise yourself. Like every other damn coward we've gotten concerning about every damn shooting or any other kind of mass casualty event. This wasn't a mass casualty event. This was a specific targeted event. This was an opportunity not wasted. And therefore, the assassin had this planned out in advance. Had to have. Found out how he wanted to do it, and then he did it. And then he's dead. Abiy is dead. The works that he's done still lives on. His values and his ideas are still living on. Unfortunately, the mouth is dead. I think that was a message right there. I just killed the mouth. The mouth's message is no longer valid for Japan. If it happened here, you know how ape we would go? It was bad enough when we actually had Kennedy assassinated. The country went on lockdown. Hell, it was even just as crazy and insane as we saw the 9/11 situation. How crazy was that? I had a hell of a lot of fear during that time. I was fearing tall buildings and airplanes during that time. And it never got over the damn thing as much. But it still scared the hell out of me. It did. Something like this in a foreign dignitary is one thing when it's not on our soil. But if it's on home soil, that resonates. That resonates. They're going to be talking about this for hours on end, on days on end. They're going to be pulling up more and more people to talk about it and rehearse and rehash the news. Every time somebody's pulling on the major news organizations, they're going to be talking about this. Assassinated. They couldn't do that to the current minister, to the current prime minister? No, because he wasn't well loved, and the former was trying to do as best as he could. It was just fucking crazy. And to preserve his dignity, as soon as they got the damn shooter, and they got him on camera, it's a young kid, makes a gun, and made a shotgun. That's why they couldn't get him. He made a shotgun. Double barrel, short, with a scatter pattern. No wonder they couldn't get him to. Oh God! I gotta turn this up.
Former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe died after being shot twice, once in his chest and once in his neck. Doctors treating the former Prime Minister said that his heart had actually stopped by the time that he reached the hospital. They said that he was bleeding profusely and that the bullet that killed Abe was deep enough to reach his heart. Doctors say that they faced a difficult time stopping that bleeding, and it was ultimately that this morning, local time, in the western city of Nara, several hours after the shooting. A visibly emotional Fumio Kishida, Japan's current prime minister, also addressed the media, calling this shooting an unforgivable act. Abe's brother and current Minister of Defense Nobuo Kishi also addressed the media, calling the attack an affront to democracy and the suppression of freedom of speech. Now, after the shooting, NHK says that the former prime minister was bleeding from his chest and in a state of cardiac arrest while being transported to the hospital. Witnesses say that Abe was shot from behind. He didn't collapse after that first shot that you heard at the top of the segment, but did after the second shot before receiving CPR. The suspect, a man in his 40s, was arrested on the spot in possession of what NHK has described as a handmade gun. When you look at this gun, it almost kind of looks like a handmade sawed-off shotgun. These two metal pipes almost kind of held together using black tape. Abe was there in Japan, Western Japan, delivering a stump speech for the Liberal Democratic candidates ahead of the upper house election, which is set for this Sunday. Of course, a controversial figure here in Japan and around the world for his policies. Abe is incredibly, he's a huge figure, an important figure here in Japan and around the world. And news of this shooting has absolutely shocked the nation. Now, in the hours following the shooting, many people have taken to social media to say that they hope that he would survive. Some call it a barbaric act that shakes the root of democracy, saying that whether or not you agree with his political stances, that violence to suppress political stances is never acceptable. And those emotions only likely deepened with the news that former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has died. Brianna, John.
Jesse, thank you so much for that. We'll be checking back.
All right, let's go to the White House for reaction right now. See that Jeremy Diamond is there this morning.
Everybody's reacting to the damn thing.
Yeah, shocking news. In the words of the
They can all record their own reactions on this thing, but this is concerning about my own reactions to it. That's why it's a long video, because I'm including a lot of information from CNN on this thing. Why is it supposed to be affecting me this badly? I never had any connections with Japan or Abe, not personally, not professionally, not in any way, shape, or form. Except I do have a lot of respect for them and a lot of respect for the people. At one time they were former enemies, but now they're competitors, but also friends and allies. Seeing how this goes and seeing how things are playing out. The reason why I was kept talking about the politics happening in the Pacific Theater is it has a direct effect on us out here in the West Coast, and not to mention everywhere else in the country, let alone the world. Anything that happens major like this in any country, it's going to be affecting everybody in the markets, economically, globally. Even a thing like this would affect the markets right now. It's bad enough Russia doing its own damn crap, lying to its own people while trying to take over another country, and that's affecting all the markets right now, including the ones that affect us out here in the country, United States. This is going to have political repercussions on it. Why did the 40-year-old get pissed off at the Prime Minister? Why was he that seriously pissed off at him? There's going to have to be political repercussions on this one. They're going to have to start investigating on this one real heavily to see who he was involved with, and then making sure if the information is going to be put out there for the public to understand. Some information governments usually hold back because they don't want a complete fear-mongering happening or a lot of hatred shit going on, but they also don't want to lose any points of trying to nail the guy who's responsible. They want to get a scapegoat. If they already got the scapegoat, why did he do what he did? Why did he kill? And they're going to have to figure this guy out too. Whether or not if he was quote unquote a mental case, or did he actually have something political agenda in mind? It's the only two things I can think of at this point. And I don't know what else to tell you. I can tell you right now is I am going to go back to bed, sleep this thing off, get up in a couple of hours, and watch the rest of the world go kill in a handbasket. So, ta-ta.